full-back. It was Pratt, Reardon, Price and Vainicolo, Harris and Paul. The forwards, Fielden, Deacon and Peacock the captain, Radford, Parker and Langley. And on the bench, Vangenaar, Myers, Lynch and Carl Price, the coach Brian Noble. Now Wigan, shorn of many of their stars, Melling replacing the injured Radlinski at fullback, Colbon, Aspinwall, Vialicki and Dallas, Brown at standoff, no Danny Orr, and the scrum half was Dennis Moran. Up front, it's Siu, Newton and Gise, Hansen, Wild and Tickle. And on the bench, Sculthorpe, MacDonald, Godwin and Bezic, the coach Dennis Betts.
Match referee is Steve Ganson. We're just about ready to go. It's been a lovely day here in West Yorkshire. It's dry. That's a bonus for a Friday in the Super League this year. It's mild. It's the Super League. It's Bradford against Wigan. We're about to go here at the Odsal Stadium. Tremendous atmosphere as normal. Bradford will attack in the white jerseys, black shorts from left to right as we watch. Wigan in cherry and white as usual. And Paul Deacon is going to get this game underway on the blast from Mr. Ganson's whistle. Here we go. One of the occasions of the year, but can these Wigan youngsters stand up?
They'll certainly have to do it in the opening 15 minutes because Bradford, and there they're straight into the defence. They really want to show the world that it was no fluke that they thrashed Huddersfield last weekend. They really want to pile the points up, and it's important for Wigan. They have to hold out for the first 15 minutes. It'll be impossible for them if they concede 2 tries early.
It's Wigan who are in possession deep inside their own quarter at the moment. Good defence from Radford and Deacon, and it was on Danny Tickle, who gets up, plays the ball to Newton. There is Dennis Moran, short ball, and that's Jerome Gise.
Pretty good defence by the Bulls. You can see that Wigan well and truly in their own quarter. They've gone for the power play.
Kevin Brown is tackled, still inside his own half, and I don't think he read the call from the referee.
Eddie, that's an awful start for Wigan.
Don't think he heard the call from Mr. Ganson that it was the last tackle.
Well, not only that, they've got to look at the official who raises his arm. You don't have to hear him, you can see him.
And Robbie Paul floats the ball wide to Leon Price, who cuts inside. He bounces off one. Good job that Danny Tickle was there to complete the tackle. It's Deacon at dummy half, and Fielden will drive the ball in.
What's for the blind side here, Eddie? They want to give Vainicolo as quickly as possible, I'm sure.
Well, they actually come this way with Harris, who finds Parker. And the tackle is completed by Harris and Hansen. It's with Yestin Harris now, and it goes wide to Carl Pratt. He bounces away from Dallas, and it's a good job that Terry Newton is there for Wigan. This is the last tackle for Bradford. Will they read the script? Yes, they will, with Robbie Paul. A floater to the far side, looking for Vainicolo. It's knocked forward by Wigan, and off the knees of Dennis Moran, it finds its way into touch.
Well, Dennis Moran looking at the official, because I think that Vainicolo was offside. He looked as though he was in front of the kicker. And that's the reason why the experienced Dennis Moran just having a quick word to Mr. Ganson.
He's missed 4 matches this year with a back injury. He returned against Leeds last week. There is the Vainicolo, the volcano. And Dennis Betts looking anxiously on, and he might do here, because that was a quick break from Harris. Quick play the ball to Withers. On the bounce it goes, and there is the first try to Stuart Reardon. Well, it's been coming almost from the first minute, and the first time that Wigan had the ball in hand, they got trapped.
Well, they made a huge mistake, Eddie, by the fact that they didn't kick on the 6. They should have been playing well down into Bradford's quarter. Failed to do that. Bad position. They kicked on the last. It went touching goal, and from... It's it there, I think it's a bit badly done to. I always thought that Vainicolo was definitely in front of the kicker. Dennis Moran pushes it over. And the build-up, nothing wrong with Vainicolo interfering there. Didn't take the man, come off the legs. Oh, beautiful step there from Harris, absolutely superb. Harris back to his best, but look at this, it's simple. David Vialicki had no option but to take it and try to go for the intercept. And Reardon, the man who knows the way to the line,
Yes, he does, Reardon. And Deacon with the first conversion, and he's pushed it the wrong side of the post. Well, Deacon is normally so reliable with the boot. Reardon with the try. 2 tries against Huddersfield last week, also for Stuart Reardon. Great start, apart from the conversion from Deacon for the Bulls. Wigan restart. First time the ball's been down that end of the field, and here will come Peacock. It's a good chase from the kick-off by Wigan, though.
Eddie, it's really important that Wigan don't freeze here. You know that your self-confidence is most often based on past experiences, and not many of these Wigan players have a good experience of being here at Hodsall in the past. But they need to lift here now, and they need to get some little bit of confidence from containing Bradford deep within their half. It's pretty tough with the power and the passion of which Bradford forwards are playing at present.
Phil, I just posed a question. Terry Newton, the captain tonight. Normally it's Radlinski. Radlinski would have been screaming and shouting to tell them it was the last and they should have gone for the kick.
Well, they can't dwell too long on that mistake. They need to put some pressure on Bradford right now.
The kick downfield is from Iestyn Harris. We said in the pre-match build-up, if a Wigan player goes home with the watch tonight as man of the match, they're likely to have won the game. And the man who has the onerous task of picking the man of the match with his colleagues in the press is Dave Hadfield.
There was some very significant fine-tuning from Brian Noble at Huddersfield last week, with Robbie Paul going to scrum half, Paul Deacon, Atuka, Jamie Peacock at prop, and it all seems to work very well. If it carries on working tonight, one of those could emerge as the dominant figure. Familiar story for Wigan with players missing tonight, Chris Radlinski amongst them, but Chris Mellin, he did very well for Wigan at fullback at the start of last season. And what about Wayne MacDonald? What an opportunity for him. Wasn't getting much game time at Leeds, but he certainly will do at Wigan. Let's see what he does with it when he gets a chance.
Let's see what Wigan do here with Kevin Brown. It's a little dab over the top, and that's very easy for Michael Withers. There wasn't really much pressure on him when the ball bounced.
Well, nice little chip over the top, but good work for Carl Pratt there. Just shepherd, made sure that the fullback had no pressure. It's all about teamwork.
And here is Vainikolo, the 7th forward, as Steve O so rightly says, but not making much progress there. Dennis Moran saw to that. There is Wayne MacDonald warming up on the sideline. It's a big night for him. He's played only a handful of games for Leeds this year. Obviously Leeds thinking that they have enough cover in that department. They've allowed him to come to Wigan for the rest of the season.
And hats off to Tony Smith for doing such a thing like that. He's done it before, sent challenges. But look, all the clubs have got to help each other.
Absolutely. And the kick downfield from Leon Price is straight into the arms of Chris Melling here. Filling big shoes tonight in the full-back berth.
Well, he looks very confident there. Very confident indeed. Taking that football.
Brett Dallas, one of the household names in this Wigan side. There's another, Terry Newton, and another, Dennis Moran. Now Danny Tickle. Good offload, but through the legs. And Robbie Paul was hunting the mistake from Martin Aspinwall. Fortunately for Wigan, it didn't come. Here comes Jerome Guisset. Great ball from Guisset. And Wigan trying to move the ball about. This is Kevin Brown. Good scamper from Newton. He finds Siu. Siu then on to Stephen Wild.
Well, I know that Bradford has scored the first point of this game, but they've got to get their defence sorted out. Look, they're hanging back. They're not getting into the faces. That's a good kick, just a bit too long.
Yes, it goes touch and goal.
Oh, not a bad effort there. I must say it's a big ask for Wigan now that they've conceded that first try. But as I said, Dennis Betts will be aware that that defensive line from Bradford, well, just hanging back. It has been a problem already throughout this season for the Bulls.
No point diving.
Odds-on favourites tonight, the Bradford Bulls, to win the match. Deacon, ball in field, and a great offload there by Langley, and here come the Bulls now down the right channel with Michael Withers, who will remember the grand final of 2001, a hat-trick against Wigan in that, when well, Bradford absolutely put the cleaners through the Wigan Warriors at Old Trafford, 37 points to 6. This is Stuart Fielden. He plays the ball to Deacon. Deacon goes wide to Leon Price, a dab down the wing looking for Vainikolo again, but well picked up in defence over on that far side.
Good position there by the winger Colbon. Knew that the kick was coming, put his body on the line.
He's got a big job tonight, though, the youngster Liam Colbon.
It's not going to be easy against the Volcano. Ooh, that was a dodgy pass. Great work from Pratt. It looks like Pratt's in the mood, and when that is the case, you can guarantee that the Bulls are successful.
And good work also from marker position by Iestyn Harris. Coming up to 9 minutes on the watch. Bradford ahead 4-0. Early impressions on the game from our special guest tonight, Ian Milward.
Well, I think the first thing we've got to worry about is this ball moving.
And Guisset is trapped. That is the turnover.
Yeah.
He was caught in the end by Vainikolo, but as you say, great movement.
Yeah, I think Eddie, I think we've been talking about already, both Phil and Steve-O is the kicking game. People at home are probably wondering whose responsibility is it on a kick? Is it the kicker to look at the referee or hear it? It's also the responsibility of the other players around to inform him of what position the opposition are and what they need. And that's where Radlinski have pointed on that, and Farrell, they were so fantastic. Who's going to step up for Wigan and be a leader here tonight? That's what they need now after starting a little bit shaky at the moment with their kicking game and field position.
This is Deacon. He finds Radford. The Bradford crowd getting on the back of the referee, Mr. Ganson, because the Wigan defensive line at the play the ball is a little bit like a dog's hind leg at times. Leon Price, great dummy and a great long pass. And on the bounce, it finds its way into the arms of Robbie Paul. And Robbie Paul will keep the movement going. He finds Michael Withers. It's opened up for Withers. It's open for Withers. He had Deacon. Maybe he should have given it him.
Great tackle by Melling.
Deacon is coming again. Comes back on the deck. And a stab to the in-goal area. And Brett Dallas is there and just about gets a fingertip to it. And Bradford will get a second set of 6.
Great build-up by the Bulls. They're confident. Good work. Offloaded to Deacon. Knew there was nowhere down that blind side, but great positioning by Brett Dallas. Michael Withers, such an elusive player, got great balance, has the ability to beat the first tackle nearly on every occasion.
Drop out from underneath the post by Danny Tickle. Great length on it too, to 10 metres inside the Bulls' half of the field. Withers then gives it to Jamie Peacock.
Interesting to note as well that when Bradford have ball in hand, Robbie Paul is yet to take on the defensive line.
And a hand in at the play the ball by Danny Tickle. It's a penalty to the Bradford Bulls. It's going to be another set of 6 here. I know that's only on the first tackle, but Phil Clark, you saw this morning when you were in the studio for the Australia-New Zealand test how important it is to get consecutive sets of 6.
And it's also where you get those. I mean, you often hear coaches talk about field position. If you just sat at home, that basically means get near your opponent's line. If you have the ball, you've got a chance of scoring, which looks like Bradford at the moment.
Oh, great pinch. I think that was Terry Newton who nicked that from Stuart Fielden.
The hooker did very well indeed. They know that Fielden has this upper body strength, and when he gets through half the tackle, he likes to spin and look for the offload, just a relaxation. And there you see Newton. Give me that, baby. Give me it.
Well, he got it, and this now is Jerry Siusiu in possession for the Wigan. Oh, that was risky business, but Brett Dallas turned it into a useful pass.
Well, it just shows that Wigan are quite confident. They want to get on with it. They're not happy just to, just try to stop this Bradford outfit.
This is interesting. Jerry Siusiu was withdrawn after 12 minutes. It's even more interesting now for Wigan. They have a penalty, and the man who's come on is Wayne McDonald. This is an early debut for Wayne McDonald.
It is, isn't it? 12 minutes into the game. I think that's just an indication of how much work Wigan have had to do defending near their own line, Eddie. They brought both front rowers on, Sculthorpe and McDonald.
Well, I bet Wayne McDonald is absolutely itching to get his hands on the football. This, meanwhile, is Brett Dallas. Wigan are threatening the line.
Surely they'll give him a chance early.
Harrison Hansen saw a gap. I thought he just stretched out the arm there, but Withers saw to it that he couldn't do that. Nearly over the line. Newton will give Dennis Moran a bit of width here, and the ball then goes right. And here is Stephen Wild, and still going, and hauled back. Well, this is great pressure from the Wigan side.
Tremendous play by the Cherry and Whites. As I say, they don't want to be overawed by this occasion. They are going to play rugby league football open and fast.
It's with Kevin Brown now. He tries to go inside Radford. This is Harrison Hansen. There's a battle going on for possession there with Iestyn Harris. Hansen wins it. Newton is the dummy half, and Newton will come the short side, and Kevin Brown is so close again for Wigan.
Withers has come to the rescue, put his body on the line on 2 occasions.
And I think Dallas has hit the corner flag anyway. Referee will just check it out with the video referee.
Well, you've got to hand it to the man in the screen there, Michael Withers. His foot's on the line anyway, so this will be no try. And there you see the flag goes well before he gets it.
Good work from Carl Pratt.
It had to be as well. Good thinking. Just a little bit slow to just shake up.
Steve, you watched a lot of Bradford games over 10 years in Super League and that. How many times you seen Bradford with a shot at goal underneath the post, not have a shot at goal? And usually that's a good indication how the players feel the game's going. They felt confident. They felt like there was inroads into Wigan. Didn't take the shot. Now they're defending up the other end. Have they got that little mentality at the moment, the Bulls? This is going to be a little bit easy. And I've got to say, Wigan scrambled like hell down that other end.
They certainly did. And I must say, though, Ian, this is the day that Brian Noble and the team realise if they really do get a good scoreline against Wigan, it was no fluke last week. They're back on track.
It's the turnover, by the way, because Dallas had a foot in touch before the ball hit the deck.
The reason I'm speaking.
So it's
after the, all right.
It's a
after
turnover.
The touch, went to the screen, he copped a gobful. Now all he's doing is his job, and Carl expect better from you. All right, well, think about it.
The referee having a word with Carl Pratt because he had a word out of turn with the touch judge. I'll try and translate that referee's instruction for you.
Eddie, I don't think Brian Noble will be happy with Carl Pratt advising the touch judge on how to do his job, but what he will be happy with is the defence near his own line. They've been conceding about 4 tries a game on average this season, and that's not good enough for a side that wants to get to the grand final. They know they have to reduce that amount of tries that they do concede in a match, and that's a great start, defending the line so well.
Indeed so, and talking of great start, it was a really big hit on Wayne MacDonald on Stuart Fielden just a moment ago that drew gasps from the crowd, and there he is again, getting involved in the tackling with Jamie Peacock. It's the size and strength of Wayne MacDonald, that sort of thing that Wigan have been missing this year. 0-0 at Salford, by the way.
It certainly is, Eddie, and that's the reason why Dennis Betts was very thankful indeed that Leeds allowed him to take the man on loan.
Nice footwork from Robbie Paul. Well, Colbon.
It's gone from bad to worse for the young kid.
Well, he made a play at it, and then he looked as though he was almost content to allow the ball to run dead in goal. But I don't think he actually touched that.
Well, he'll probably be in two minds and was hoping it there, and then when it just ricocheted, maybe he got a foot to, I think he did, it just deflected away to his left.
And then it bounced right into his legs. He's got some speed, this young man. Dennis Betts.
Well, they always say there's one way to learn, and that's experience out there.
Well, Leeds, to be fair,
it can be cruel.
A couple of years ago, Leeds had to play so many of their youngsters, and look what's happened to them over the past 12 months.
Well, Liam Colburn will be hoping one of his teammates can maybe do a one-on-one strip here, although that kick's helped them out. It's got a bit of distance from the line.
He took a wicked bounce over the top of Michael Withers. This is Peacock now. Up the middle he goes. Bradford ahead, 4-0, 16 minutes gone. And Robbie Paul looking busy. Gets it to Rob Parker.
Delayed pass, flat, but it nearly fooled the Wigan defence.
Deacon to Harris, and Harris will float it wide to Leon Price, who comes in field. And then flicks an awful pass wide, and Colbon breathes a big sigh of relief.
Good work as well from Colburn there. He just thought for a moment to go on the outside and thought, no, I've come up with an error a few seconds before. I'll make sure I keep in the field of play. That'll settle his nerves. He's back in the game.
And here is Danny Sculthorpe. They'll be delighted to see him back in the team as well. A rib injury has kept him out for the last 4.
I must say, though, he doesn't look 100% fit.
Never does, though, Danny Sculthorpe, does he? With all due respect to him. Oh, great run! Here is Wayne MacDonald. Here is Dennis Moran. And in support now is Vialicke. Off to Dallas, and the try for Brett Dallas.
Beautiful play.
Fantastic hands. And Wayne MacDonald was at the heart of that for Wigan. And Brett Dallas with the try. It was laid on a plate for him in the end.
Wonderful work from Terry Newton. They went too high on him. But what about the offload there from Dennis Moran? Well, Eke did well. That's good play. You can see how Carl Pratt, this is the intercept from Liam Colburn, put them in. Good thinking from the youngster there. Keeps it in the field of play. But they got caught. Peacock high. Couldn't fill in. How about that from the big fella? and from the halfback. But what about the end pass? Thank you. He went close a few moments ago. It's 4 points this time.
And the scores are level at Odsal, courtesy of Brett Dallas's try. And he's in a great run of form, isn't he? 6 tries in his last 7 matches, the Australian Wigan wing. Ever present last year, but he missed the defeat at Wakefield in February of this year. The Queenslander, he's got caps for his country, got half a dozen of those. And here now is Danny Tickle to try and add the extras for Wigan on this, his 38th consecutive appearance, the England A international. Ready to take the step up to Great Britain, maybe, in the Tri-Nations at the end of this year. Tickle, it's a difficult conversion. Andy Farrell's kicked plenty of these for Wigan over the years from this sort of angle. This is another left-footed kicker, Tickle. And he has just pushed it the wrong side of the posts. 4 apiece though here at Odsal.
Quite simple. Look there, Deacon, Peacock looking for the head, not where they should be. They should be looking at the feet. And when he throws the dummy, the chance is on. Well, MacDonald probably thought about the fact, and I remember him scoring a long-range try for Leeds a couple of seasons ago, an absolute wonderful effort, but he did the right thing, kept his cool, offloaded.
Level pegging then, and Deacon restarts the match. Coming up to the midpoint of this first half, and Danny Sculthorpe with a strong run from defence makes 15 metres. Just the ticket for Bradford, Ian. For Wigan, Ian.
If you look at both teams at the moment, you'd say at the moment Wigan's made more errors, but as a coach you understand people are going to make errors. What you want them to do is how they respond to it. They've responded very well, Wigan, to every error they've come up with. Now the question is, Brian Noble saying his team, you've come up with a defensive error, let's see how you respond, because these young kids are learning and they're responding.
And Wayne MacDonald looks full of it, doesn't he, in the opening few minutes that we've seen him on the field in Wigan colours. Here is Danny Sculthorpe. Always loves to try and offload the ball if he can.
He certainly is, and I must say that a lot of people will be a little bit disrespectful for him. They say, well, he didn't have the fitness, he hasn't had much play time this year. And that is a fine kick.
It was a great kick from Dennis Moran.
The point that I'm saying is that when MacDonald got that ball, he said, I don't think I can go any further. That's the way to do it. Turn him around, just a little bit of negative thought into this Bradford outfit.
You know, a lot of players in sports, Steve, when they're given the tag of becoming a captain, it actually brings probably another 5 or 10% out of them. I'm just looking at Terry Newton there in back players. He took his side to that scrum and, you know, encouraging, enthusing his side here. Come on, we've got a chance, we're in good position. I think it might bring the best out of Terry Newton here tonight.
Well, they're looking for the mistake here. Here's the Bradford try scorer, Stuart Reardon, tackled by Stephen Wild. There's the Wigan captain, the new one, while Chris Radlinski recovers from his hamstring injury. And Joe Vangenaar has come on for Bradford.
Big hit there from Danny Sculthorpe.
This is Stuart Fielden. And the big men get him, MacDonald and Sculthorpe.
Well, it's in the forwards that I thought the Bradford Bulls would boss this game, and it's not proving to be that way.
Harris with the dab over the top. And that's young Kevin Brown back there.
Well, there's rumour that Kevin Brown was actually going to play at fullback. Radlinski was injured. The mere fact that Danny Orr was out also.
Bottom Club Lee ahead 4-0 after 20 minutes at Salford. And if that's the case, Widnes would drop to the foot of the table before they play the league leaders Leeds tomorrow if they stay like that. Widnes against Leeds is live on Sky Sports 1 tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
I must say, Lee, they are fighting for their lives, aren't they?
Well, they are, and Darren Abram is recruiting well. To be fair, we should really be talking about Wigan and Bradford, but to be fair, Lee came into the Super League scene very late, and all the players appeared to have gone. Well, as the season has progressed, Darren Abram has moved in and brought a few to the Coliseum. This is a penalty here for Wigan.
And it's a massive boost too. If you win a penalty on a fourth tackle near the halfway line, that's a really good result. You know, Dennis Betts seems to have given MacDonald and of course the other prop on the side, Sculthorpe, 10 minutes on the field. He's brought those back off now. What impact can Guisset make?
Well, it's a great ball from Guisset. And this is Dennis Moran. He's just hauled back by Michael Withers. There's a Bradford player flat out in back play as Terry Newton takes this on. Newton attacking that line, and the defence scrambles across and brings him down. Rob Parker and Iestyn Harris. Here now is Jerome Guisset. Bradford down to 12 men at the moment. One man on his haunches receiving treatment. It's Paul Deacon, and here is Moran, and the ball wide.
Oh, he's lost it.
Colbon was scoring a try then for Wigan.
Certainly was. The big fella Vainikolo had just come off the whitewash. Great pass from Dennis Moran. It was there. They'd taken that ball and gone low. Look at that, Vainikolo. I'm in no man's land.
I think Leon Colbon saw Vainikolo coming.
Pass was slightly behind him though, didn't he? He did have to check for it.
How many times have we seen that, Phil, over the past 4 or 5 televised games where, you know, this flat attack, it's good, I think, in the forwards, but I'm not so sure in the three quarters.
But if he was 2 metres back, by the time he caught the ball, Vainikolo could have readjusted and pushed him into touch. So I think that's the reason why your opportunity only lasts for a millisecond and you have to be on the spot to take it.
I'd rather have the ball in hand and take the risk.
Well, the Wigan youngsters look up for the challenge here. This is Vainikolo, and he has attracted 3 to him, and they are up for it, the Wigan youngsters. He's
They
trying to get
certainly
up,
are.
and it's a penalty.
Yeah.
It's a penalty against Vialicki. He was all over the top of his fellow countryman.
He has to. He's told him now. Both sides are fully aware of it. I know they talk about the dominant tackle and give him the opportunity to get the defence back, but he was messing around.
This is Deacon. He thought better of the pass inside to Vanganar then.
Well,
There are a few Kiwis in this side who will be smarting from the defeat this morning by the Australians. Here's one of them, Vanganar.
They'll be out there to prove a point as well, but it's a time now that Bradford's forwards have got to start taking the ball across the advantage line. They've got to work harder.
Iestyn Harris, he's 10 metres short of the Wigan line here as he plays the ball to Paul Deacon, and Deacon tries to step his way, gets the ball away to Harris, and Harris, well, he dummied to Robbie Paul, and he ended up, he has to take the tackle from Tickle and from Aspinwall. Leon Price, they go wide to Vainikolo. Oh, he's got such strength. He
That's
has
a brilliant
such
try.
strength. Leslie Vainikolo, he scored 5 in the match that kicked off Super League 9 last year, and he's got one here, I think.
Well, I agree with you, Eddie. It's down before anything gets anywhere near the flag or the whitewash. They'll take another angle just to make sure that the leg didn't drag in, but it didn't. He's got that down well before the left elbow hits the ground, and they'll take probably another look head on just to confirm, but I think you'll find that this is TRY.
Great strength from him.
There it is. There is the proof in the pudding.
What strength from Leslie Vainikolo. And this is going to be his 9th try of the campaign. That's what they think, the Bradford Bulls fans. And a try it is, on the nod of the video referee, to Leslie Vainikolo, last year's leading Super League try scorer. He's got 9 now, 2 behind Keith Senior, who is leading the way.
Can't afford to give away silly penalties. That is what Wigan did. Bradford got the ascendancy, and the big fella. Good work from Leon Price. Not noted for spiralling the ball out wide with a very strong pass, and it was. Boom, get out of the way, Dennis. I'm in. And he is. Tremendous stuff.
Great try from Vainikolo. And a change of goal kicker here for the Bradford Bulls, Iestyn Harris. He took over from Paul Deacon, who had a bit of a knock last week, and he got the 6 goals you see on the caption there against Huddersfield. It was 6 from 7. He kicked fantastic goals for Leeds in his time, but he's missed with that one. It's 8-4 to the Bradford Bulls.
Sign of the times, or should we say past times, as regards to Bradford, when this guy really starts motoring. 3 tries last week, already crossed for 1. He'll be eager for many, many more.
Well, Bradford with their noses in front. Just let me repeat, there has never been a grand final yet that hasn't included either Bradford or Wigan, and 2 of them were Bradford and Wigan showdowns that the Bulls won. But the hot money this year is on Leeds and St Helens. That's music to the ears of Ian Millwood, I'm sure. Or is it? Is that too much pressure?
Well, no pressure there at all. If we're there, I'll be the happiest man in town. Then I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of supporters, and but that's the beauty of it. 28 rounds, anything can happen. Injuries. We look at here today. Wigan are going fantastic at the moment. They're breaking out here again. Bradford,
They are, but they've scrambled well in defence. Wigan. Let's get down to Bill.
Change for the Warriors. Liam Colburn's had a pretty torrid night out there. One or two things not going his way, and Dennis Betts has taken the decision to pull him off the field and shake things up on that Wigan right-hand side, just to try and tighten things up out there. I think it looks as though Martin Aspinwall has moved out onto that right-hand side.
It's Wigan who are in possession here. 6-4. Salford have edged ahead against Lee after 25 minutes at the Willows. Big match for Salford. They could really establish themselves in the top 6 tonight, and massive match for Lee, of course. They could move off the bottom of the table, and what a psychological boost that would be for them. This is Godwin for Wigan. Not much progress made. Parker saw to that. Moran. They're 10 metres away from halfway, Wigan, and this is the last tackle. That's why Dennis Moran got the kick in. He was looking for a possible 40-20 there, but Withers saw to the fact that it was not going to be one.
It amazes me, this fullback Michael Withers. He reads the game so well, good positional play. Obviously they've studied the kicking game from Dennis Moran. World class, isn't he, Michael Withers?
Deacon moves the ball in field, and Andy Lynch, 12th in a row on the subs bench this year. He's yet to start for the Bradford Bulls since his move from Castleford. And this is Leon Price. Robbie Paul waits just over halfway. Deacon, Vanganar, good progress made forward right up the middle. Last tackle though. This is Harris. High crossfield kick looking for Leon Price. Well taken over on that far side though. Great take by Aspinwall. And this is Stephen Wild.
We'll be coming up to the 30-minute mark, and to be fair, I think Dennis Betts will be quite happy that he's only 4 points adrift. Okay, they've conceded 2 tries. Goal kicking not up to scratch for the Bulls at this point in time.
Big 10 minutes coming up though for Wigan here, up to half-time.
I think we're quite happy if we can get them in the sheds after 40 minutes and just say, look, we've still got an opportunity. They've already proven that they can break down this Bradford defence.
And here goes Godwin. It's a wonderful break. He has support both sides, and he feeds Terry Newton. And Terry Newton is clattered to the ground. Can he get it away? No, Brad Myers saw to that. But what a wonderful break from Godwin, who's in there at dummy half. Can Wigan finish it off here? A stab. Oh, and it bounced off the knees. Tickle was looking to get the ball in goal. It bounced off the legs of Lee Radford.
Well, it was the right option. But what a wonderful break there from the substitute Wayne Godwin. Did everything right.
Steve, I'd just like to see the Wigan players have a little bit more belief they're going to break the line. A few times they've broken fairly consistently, but it's been their lack of support, and sometimes it's just a lack of belief that we're not going to get through this line and we're through. Oh, I'm too late. If they could just push up, gee, I think they could finish off a couple of tries here.
But if you look at that statistic, they might be a bit confident.
Yeah, and I must say that if it had been the other way around, if it had been Terry Newton who would have made the break rather than Godwin, it would have been try time.
Kick from Yestin Harris. Wobbles its way all the way into the arms of Kevin Brown. Back come Wigan again. The tackle from Radford, helped out by Andy Lynch. Little half break up the middle by Aspinwall. Good feet. Jerry CUCU will take it on. Oh, Dallas.
To knock on.
Dallas almost picked it up, but Brad Myers comes up with the possession.
Well, I think Myers knocked on there, and that was a forward pass. They're getting away with it at the moment. Oh, they lifted. Dennis Moran lifted. The official said it's A-OK. Withers has a rifle look at the official.
We're going to be really happy though, Eddie, that they've been able to split Bradford down that middle, and if Dallas can get on the end of some of those offloads, there's points for Wigan.
This is Robbie Paul, now it's Leon Price. Leon Price comes square, tries to go round the man. Oh, and Brad Myers has managed to hold on to that.
Well, it looked as though Dennis Moran had that football, and I think Myers pinched it off him again.
The referee hasn't wiped the tackle count down. That's a wonderful pass, and that's great play. Harris found Lynch. Lynch looked inside, and Withers was in support. And Withers touches down behind the post for his 100th try for the Bradford Bulls.
And what a time to score it as well. That was superb play. We know the quality of Justin Harris. Slowly but surely he's taking time to get back into the rugby league world after a few years with the Rah-Rahs. But that was sheer quality. Good support play though. It could have gone the other way, couldn't it? I think that Myers knocked that back. That should have been a knock-on. But look at the skill of Harris. Lynch did well, kept his cool. And like all fullbacks and hookers and halfbacks, you go down the middle. Look at that, quality, bam. He had them totally confused. That is a wonderful try.
Well, Deacon's bang in front this time. He's taken over then from Justin Harris. Maybe that's the plan. Deacon will kick them from in front. Harris will kick them from out wide. Deacon adds the extras. Suddenly Bradford stretch the lead. It's 14-4. Michael Withers. What a terrific record of try scoring he's got. 100 in 139 games. Don't forget, man of the match in February when Bradford pinched Wigan's very proud and long unbeaten home record from them.
It could have been so much the other way, couldn't it? Remember the break from the substitute, Wayne Godwin. Poor old Terry Newton just didn't have the legs, but full credit to Bradford. They scramble back.
Deep kick-off again. Vangenaar will run it back from his own line. Straight at Violicki, straight at Harrison Hansen. Here's Carl Pratt. 20-metre line. Deacon to Harris. Looping pass, long to Myers. Paul to Vainicolo. They're trying to get the big fellow involved at every opportunity, aren't they?
They certainly are, but it's taking 2 and sometimes 3 Wigan defenders to try to stop him. And once you do that, that means you've got 3 players working overtime throughout the game when really you should only have 1.
They also made the whole of the Wigan defensive line move from the left-hand side of the field over to the right. And that makes the next play the balls after that, Eddie, a lot easier if you're taking it forward for Bradford.
Leon Price with the kick downfield, and Dallas just gobbles it up. Leon Price is the man who got the kick in, so he's put everybody on side with that chase and makes the tackle. Now it's with Kevin Brown.
Second, back up, boys. Brad, good effort, mate.
Godwin waits at dummy half again for Wigan. Finds Tickle.
A solid defence.
You could hear the groan from up here as Tickle was hit by those 2 men.
Little doubt Brian Noble has got the message out to this Bradford pack. Come on, we need a little bit more urgency. But full credit to Wigan. They're looking for the offload.
Yes, they are. They're playing with great pomp at the moment, Wigan, even though they're 14-4 down on the scoreboard. And they get the ball wide again. It did drift forward, I think, but Wild is able to carry on. This is the last tackle, Newton, and he gives it to Moran, who'll hoist the kick wide, looking for Dallas again. Violicki's there as well, but Carl Pratt claimed that perfectly for the Bulls.
Superb. The experience of Pratt there, trying to make it think as though he was a little bit injured. Though I think he might have been surprised that they're going to do the switch to the blind side. Great take, and looks around, makes sure that his players can get themselves set up.
But you can again go to him.
Eddie, you can see how Bradford are playing down this right-hand side because they know they can get the link, and that's important.
5 minutes to half-time at the Willows. Salford with a 6-point advantage over Lee, 10-4. This is Andy Lynch. It's 14-4 here at Odsal, and we've got 4 minutes remaining. This is Peacock. He made the initial break, and he's given it then to Deacon, and it's floated wide to Vainicolo. The danger signs. Price went without it. Leon Price just over on the pass.
Over here, mate. You're head and feet.
Well, wasn't it a great sight? Vainicolo there. And Vainicolo, well, anybody watching, especially youngsters, that if you're going to offload, then at least make sure you have a little bit of a look. He didn't. Bump. He didn't see out of the corner of his eye. He was about to come back on the inside. So important, eye contact between your fellow player.
I know that Michael Withers is back for Bradford, but weren't we saying on our last visit to Odsal, Phil, that Leon Price is an accomplished fullback?
I think he's an accomplished backline player, isn't he, Leon Price? And you need to get the ball in his hands as much as you can, because he's a great line breaker. He's very difficult to stop. He can offload, he can pass the ball. And I think also on this side of the field, Stuart Reardon is playing central a lot more tonight here. He's a dangerous ball player, so both sides of the field, Bradford getting back to that dangerous threat they pose to sides.
Oh, that's good stuff from Wigan. The ball seemed to have died, but Danny Tickle managed to keep it going out wide to Stephen Wild. This is Terry Newton. Tackling by Deacon.
Just got to try to play for field position now, Wigan. Make sure it's a good kick and chase. Give themselves a chance to just reorganise a few things.
Got the ball away. And this is Violicki. And back it goes to Chris Melling. He had a wonderful game, apparently, Chris Melling, on his comeback at Hull over Easter.
It's got to be a good kick here.
Played stand-off that night, or that afternoon. A little dink over the top from Moran. Looked as though he might have been taken out, and the referee agrees. It's a penalty to Wigan.
Well, just what the doctor ordered.
Now, will Wigan kick for the 2 points here?
No, they've got to surely go into the corner. Good work for Dennis Moran, no doubt about it.
They are going for the quick tap. They are going for 4. And these are dangerous moments here for Bradford, because Wigan over the years have scored so many tries at this stage of a match. Godwin, 12 metres out, and he finds Moran, who steps inside. It needed
I thought he had it pinched there.
Good defence from Robbie Paul. Godwin pops the ball back. Oh, and he managed to flick it on. This is Violicki. Here is Brett Dallas again. They're in Wigan. They are in Wigan with Dallas's second try. And it is given by Steve Ganson. And that's a huge boost for Wigan and Dennis Betts. Brett Dallas with the try. It looked as though the movement had fallen down, but Wigan kept it going. And it found its way to Dallas, and he doesn't miss those.
Ball came about from the obstruction. Look at the skill here of Brown. Knew he couldn't get it under a lot of pressure. And what a take there by the centre Violicki. That was sensational. Kick over the top. No doubt about it, Lee Radford said he's taking him out from the resulting penalty. Good switch to the blind side. But what's the take here? Right off his... Oh, what wonderful effort. Try number 2 for this fella. Game on.
Very much so. Bradford will feel a little aggrieved. Was it a penalty? Wasn't it a penalty? The referee thought it was. And Wigan have capitalised with that second try from Brett Dallas.
Well, I think the officials got it spot on. To me, it looked as though Radford obstructed the little half-back, Dennis Moran.
Or did Moran run straight into him?
Do you think he could have moved out of the way, Steve-O?
Listen, in this game, it doesn't matter. If you can, we see the exponent. We've got the coach of one of the finest exponents of that. And his name is Cunningham. Ian Millwood. I'm sure will agree with me. I'm not letting the cat out the bag, Ian. I think everybody knows.
We'll get Ian Millwood's response to that in a moment when we see this conversion from Danny Tickle. Can he kick this? What a boost it will be off the post. Fair comment about Kieran Cunningham, briefly.
Kieran Cunningham signed a new 2-year contract, absolutely over the moon, and also with Mickey Hyam. We feel we've got the best 2 hookers in the game.
He won't answer the question.
No comment. You're not standing in the election, are you?
No, not yet.
Oh, well. Great first half. Wigan will be delighted. They're back within Cooey of Bradford. It's 14-8. And these Wigan supporters, well, their young side has lifted itself for this challenge. All right, Bradford lead. They've scored 3 tries to 2. But we have a second half to savour coming up. Bradford 14-8 ahead. Chris Radlinski, the Wigan skipper, talking there about the finest crop of youngsters to emerge from Wigan in over a decade. Starting to bear fruit, and what's more, they have the ball from the kickoff.
They just stood around. I can't believe it. The Bradford players just watched that ball hit the deck.
Unbelievable that they got it there 10 metres from the Bradford line.
They were very fortunate not to concede a try as well. That is a poor effort.
This is Newton now, and he's got See You, bounces off one, gives it to Kevin Brown. And there was no way through then. David Violicki offloads through the legs of Harrison Hansen. Lost a bit of momentum there on the fourth tackle.
Stand up.
Vangenaar with that tackle. This is Guisset.
Well,
That's the last.
nervous times for the Bradford Bulls, and Brian Noble will be furious.
It would be a perfect start to the second half if Brown gets on the end of that kick through by Moran, but he doesn't. Michael Withers to the rescue again for the Bulls.
Look at the kickoff here.
And they're all onside, by the way.
I know. Whose is it? I don't know. Anybody shout? Anybody want it? Yeah, Wigan player.
Oh dear.
That's atrocious.
Bradford are in possession now, though, but deep inside their own half of the field. It's Radford, and behind him is Deacon. And infield it goes to Lynch, from Lynch to Peacock, spinning away from the tackles. Peacock, good, see who caught him. The Bradford crowd thought so as well, but the man who matters, Mr. Ganson, did not. This is Lynch. Halfway line or thereabouts on the last tackle for Bradford. Expect the kick from Deacon, there it is. Down the line looking for Pratt, is it? Oh, it stays in the field of play.
Oh, he's knocked on.
He has. Kevin Brown knocks the ball on.
And that came about by the sheer pressure. Great kick.
Great kick, great chase from Pratt. He never gave it up.
And that's the reason he pulls the arm, you know. Doesn't go for the football. That was good play from Carl Pratt. Excellent kick, though, wasn't it, by Paul Deacon? That's the one advantage, you know, that Brian Noble will get a little bit of extra from Paul Deacon, is the fact that he can get in as the hooker. He's there at first man.
Here come Bradford then, and that was a short ball to Robbie Paul. And this Withers. Now Brad Myers attacking the line. Deacon held up short. Real scramble in defence by Wigan, trying to keep Andy Lynch out. And Leon Price spins the ball into the arms of Harris, who finds Vangenaar.
They'll be looking for someone coming back on the angle, but towards the post.
Leslie Vainicolo inside Leon Price.
This is Paul. Here is Leon Price. There is Vainicolo. He did come back on the inside off Leon Price. Read perfectly by Phil Clark. And Vainicolo pumping the legs and hauled down by 3.
Tremendous defence. It had to be. The big fella was going for it.
Robbie Paul to Deacon. Here's Harris. A looping pass wide. Step inside. Oh, off the fingertips. Carl Pratt has it, but he's over on the touchline. Ball fed inside again. It's the last tackle here. Harris with a kick down the line. Brilliantly picked up on the full by Kevin Brown.
Got in a good position there, but that was great work from the standoff, Justin Harris. Went for the power play yet again.
Godwin.
It's not a bad option, you know, when you've got the opposition right on their own line.
Chris Melling is the dummy half for Wigan. Here is Jerry. See you. It's his birthday on Tuesday. He will be 32 years young. Dallas. Good run from Dallas. A little more ground made by the Wigan side. Here is Godwin. Made a great break in the first half, Godwin. That was good territory again he gained for his team on the last tackle. It's now with Moran. He will hammer it downfield and it will bounce its way towards the touchline, but Withers has to pick it up. That's a great kick from Moran.
Not a bad chase either.
First, back up Wigan.
Chris Radlinski talking to Bill Arthur just before the kick-off of the second half. Made it quite clear that, you know, they've got to get a good chase, good kick and chase as well, but they've got to stop this fella.
They did, eventually. And there was a little bit of hands-on there by Stephen Wild. Well, here's Brad Myers.
He came in late, did Wild. Should have been penalised. Oh, what an offload.
Brilliantly keeping the ball alive. This is Lee Radford. It's Price. Deacon. Vangenaar. Great ball round the corner, picked up by Price. Opened up for Price slightly, it has for Myers. Wigan scrambling back in defence. Can they keep them out? Robbie Paul, Leon Price. Good Wigan defence.
Keeping the ball alive, superb stuff.
Here is Robbie Paul. Another long pass. Justin Harris, wide it goes. Great defence. Great defence from Dallas. Harris picks up the pieces. That's the last one.
Well, Dallas got a foot to it. Bradford are claiming that they should have had back to 6.
It's Deacon who'll float the kick wide. He's looking for Vinacolo again. Vinacolo palms it back, and it's gobbled up by Danny Tickle.
Great kick, wonderful pressure. And what an effort there by the big fella Vinacolo.
Bradford player injured over on the far side. It's Michael Withers. That's a worry for Brian Noble and Bradford. He doesn't look well. As CUCU has hold of the football here for Wigan.
Eddie, how many times this season have we seen Wigan scramble and defend the line with such pride, but eventually that takes it out of you. So they really can't be reliant on that. They've got to continue to play rugby like they have been doing when they're in possession to try and drain the energy out of the Bradford side.
Wigan in possession here. This is Dennis Moran. Looked up, decided to put the kick in over the top of Stuart Reardon, who collects it 5 metres from his own line. Let's get down to Bill injury news.
Well, it's bad news for the Bulls, and Mike Withers, only just back in the side, is limping round the back of the Bulls in goal area, looking very disconsolate. He's got that left knee that's caused him so many problems, heavily strapped there, you can see it, and he immediately came off the field, replaced by Carl Price. Now, could just be precautionary, but he's a very dejected figure at the moment.
He is. He's making his way very slowly round the perimeter of the field. This is Deacon, short ball, 18-6. Salford are stretching the lead against Lee at the Willows. It's 14-8 here at Odsal as Harris stabs the ball over the top. Dallas picks it up again. And this is Andy Lynch trying to drag him over.
Well, surely that should have been a penalty. To me, the tackle was completed. Lynch was all over him, trying to pull him back in the in-goal area.
Little break again from Godwin.
Bad news, Michael Withers. You can see clearly limping there. It wasn't a collision. Must have just twisted it as he went down on the ground.
CUCU, another good run for Wigan. They're 40 metres from their own line now. And it's Newton who finds Moran. Moran, short ball.
5, come on. Well done.
Danny Tickle plays the ball. Moran again, in the thick of it. Down the line it goes. And that will find its way to touch.
Eddie, if we had an excitement meter, you'd tell people every time it goes to the left-hand side of the Bradford team, the Wigan team, Price and Vinacolo for Bradford. We've got on the other side Dallas and Violecki. Gee, they've been very good. You know, I mean, every time they get the ball, some skill they've produced. They've been excellent. Their positional play, and they look absolute excitement. And I've been real impressed with those last two. When it gets there, gee, don't leave your seat.
Here is Carl Price. Last time we saw him on Sky Sports when we were here, he had an absolute blinder for the Bulls. He'd taken a bit of the shine off his elder brother Leon.
Eddie, what Wigan haven't had for about 6 minutes now is any possession inside Bradford's half. They've done well controlling it from their side, but they've shown they can handle defending and playing in their own half. Can they force a mistake here, or they need to somehow get the hands of the ball inside Bradford's territory?
That could have been a grapple tackle there by Wayne McDonald, but the referee has none of it as Deacon makes his way to the halfway line.
More running like that from Paul Deacon from dummy half.
This is Andy Lynch. Wins the first collision, but Wigan again come in numbers.
Now then, will we see the halfback Robbie Paul explode? He's been quite happy just to keep the ball alive. Here's a big kick from Price. Oh, he's going to bounce.
Oh, and he trapped it rather than getting it with his hands, Kevin Brown. He didn't look very secure under that.
Indecision. He knew that he wasn't in a very good position.
Well, a bouncing ball, admittedly not from general play, but from the kick-off, cost Wigan dearly last week against Leeds Rhinos.
He just hesitated, didn't he? Really, he should have continued on.
This is a glorious opportunity for Bradford then. They have the scrum.
Just a split second, that's all it takes.
This is much better than a goal line dropout that perhaps they were looking to force. It's with Harris, 10 metres from the line.
Well, he threw the dummy Harris and there was no second phase. Surely somebody should be coming back on the inside at least.
This is Myers. Oh, he's almost through. Godwin hangs on to him. Deacon waits at dummy half, 5 metres away. Back they come to Robbie Paul. Robbie Paul over the top, on the bounce. Vinacolo missed it. It was knocked on.
Neat dummy by Robbie Paul. It's the first time we've seen him take on the defence there. See, they're all at sea there. They're hanging in. He knows that just a little touch, little knock on. A little bit frustrated, I feel, that Bradford, although they're holding a 14-8 lead.
It's a fantastic defensive display from Wigan, but Phil, how much is this taking out of them for late in the game?
Well, it is very, very good. I know a lot of backslapping going on there. It just sees how much energy they've got left here now. 10 minutes into the second half. They did very well out of dummy half running, haven't they, to clear the line. Godwin's done well from there. Melling here now. They're trying to go forward, but they are struggling a little bit. Being driven back now by Bradford.
Good harassing by Bradford. Violecki with nowhere to go.
Well, I think Bradford realised they needed, up the tempo somewhat.
Yeah, maybe that's the message that's come down from Brian Noble.
It's got to be. This Wigan side, they've proved it already for so many weeks. They will not throw the towel in. They'll keep going right to the bitter end.
They will, while Terry Newton is the captain as well. Oh, a little break here. Terrific break from Stephen Wild. He's got Price ahead of him. Oh, and the pass from Wild straight into Carl Price's hands.
Well, that deserved a try. Stephen Wild, good tackle though. Got across to him with the other Price. Oh, that was a swinging arm. It looked. Well, Stephen Wild just acknowledges to his winger, sorry, they made a mistake, but I think the official has missed that.
And Brad Myers will agree with you. Harris.
That would have rattled the teeth, that's for sure. Here it is, no doubt about it. Maybe just fell short. Intention was there.
Danny Sculthorpe, it was. And Fielden and MacDonald.
He had a little look there, did Fielden.
He did.
Oh, they've got to be offside there. There's no way in the world that Terry Newton's that fast.
Great hands from Bradford. Robbie Paul, Brad Myers. Here's Leslie Vinacolo. Cuts inside. Still going Vinacolo. Dumps the ball down. Robbie Paul waiting for it. Wild has it again.
Oh, he's knocked on.
No, it's a second. It is a knock-on.
It is a knock-on.
I wondered whether that was a second pull by Brad Myers.
Well, if the man's moving forward, he's allowed to do that, Eddie. Ball carrying arm has not hit the deck. But it's gone Wild. Wild at one end, Wild this end.
That tackle's completed.
Well, it looks like it, doesn't it? I've been badly done to. I bow to you, Mr. Eduardo.
Stephen Wild, a couple of errors, although was that second one a legitimate error. Leon Price.
Can be such a cruel game.
Yestin Harris.
I
No way through for Reardon.
I get the feeling
that could have been
it's just a matter of time now, Eddie.
That could have been a penalty against Brown, but here comes Robbie Paul, and he gave it to Brad Myers, who breaks the line and scores.
Having a whale of a time this far. Brad Myers taking a while to settle into the Bradford style.
And all the defence that Wigan have put in the opening quarter of an hour of this second half has paid the price, because Myers stepped through the challenge then and had the strength to go all the way to the line.
You just felt it, didn't you? They're keeping the ball alive, Bradford. Very confident. This really should have been a penalty. The try scorer, Myers certainly was pulling on the leg. Wild drops the football. Take nothing away. Brian Noble, the coach, likes this fella to run out wide outside of the centres. As I mentioned before, it's taken him a while to settle in. But this will repay the coach. That was a good effort. Wigan players going a little bit too high.
And one of the things we don't talk a lot about in British Rugby League is patience. And I think what you've seen from Bradford over the last 15 minutes is a perfect demonstration of continuing to do the right things, waiting your time and just waiting for that opportunity. Admittedly, they were lucky with the Stephen Wild thing, but they've played great for those 15 minutes.
Now then, we've got Deacon and Harris and Tickle out there, great goal kickers all, but we haven't seen too many go over the crossbar. Now we have. That's the second successful kick from Paul Deacon, and Bradford lead by 20 points to 8, and is it a critical time that they have stretched the lead to 2 converted tries?
I think so. They haven't reverted back to what they normally do, that strength in the forwards. Full credit to the Bulls. They've kept the ball alive. made sure that they've just stretched this Wigan defence. And yet again, Phil Clark made the comment in regards to the control that Bradford is showing, very similar to what we've seen from Leeds this year.
Fielden wants to get on with it. There was a little bit of impedance there by Godwin. Now can Bradford get on the roll? And Michael Withers on the sideline, and there's a tear in his eye, but I think it's sweat, all the effort, but he moved away from the action very gingerly. Bill, what's the news?
Well, it is that left knee that's caused him so many problems, and the word from Professor Chris Brooks, who's on the Bradford bench, is that there you go, there's the ice. He got a bang on it at the end of the first half and aggravated it in that tackle just a few moments ago, and the decision was taken to bring the Australian full-back off.
Oh, Moran has made the break here for Wigan. Dallas is trying to get up with him. He goes wide and finds Vialicki. And Vialicki eventually does find Brett Dallas. And eventually Bradford bring him down. Penalty against Carl Pratt.
Professional foul, lucky perhaps he didn't get the yellow card, get 10 minutes in the sin bin. That to me is a professional foul, gives them time to get the defence sorted out.
Moran, who made the break. Brown hit the ball at pace but attracted 3 defenders to him. 24-6 Salford look as though they're home and hosed against Lee. And here now is the substitute Bob Bezic for Wigan. Second tackle, they're only 5 metres short of the line. Danny Sculthorpe, oh, Wayne McDonald. It's going to be a dream debut. As it is, it's a nightmare. Holds up the hand and acknowledges the mistake.
Carries the ball very high, such a tall person.
This is Reardon for Bradford.
So he's so tall that if anybody wants to sort of get to him to really give him a bit of a hit.
It wasn't a bad pass, to be fair.
Yeah,
right
it was
in the breadbasket.
Well, it was a bit of a hospital pass there, Eddie. They were converging on him at a big rate cross on that.
Harris.
Ooh, that was high.
It was. McDonald is 6'7". Harris right underneath the chin.
Yes, it's what we call an Adams tackle.
Only arrived from the Leeds Rhinos 24 hours ago. Hasn't trained with his new teammates.
Okay.
Well, it was high, and as I mentioned, Justin Harris, just a little rueful rub of the Adams apple, see if it's still there.
There's Fielden and McDonald again. They've never been far from each other when McDonald's been on the field.
It's been a great battle, hasn't it?
Reardon.
But this is a period where Bradford of old would just put the sword, and that
Another high one.
He's got to warn them now.
Well, persistent high tackling is the word.
Okay.
And what constitutes persistance?
Yes, he's bringing the captain.
Where's the captain?
Well, this will be the first since the new edict. No doubt about it.
It's all right, Danny. But mate, it's 2 on the bounce, 2 ones around the head. Just have a talk to him, that's all I'm saying. All right, it's no big hassle. I'm just telling you about it. Let's have a change, yeah?
Dennis Moran will tell his players, and they're going for 2 points here, Bradford.
Well, that surprised me. Steve Ganson.
It means they have to score 3 times.
Yeah, I know that. No, I don't mean the 2 points. I want about the fact that Ganson said that there's nothing to worry about. So, as far as it's concerned, Wigan can get away with a couple more before something happens.
Deacon adds the 2 points, 22-8.
Ian, you know when a side gives away high penalties, and I don't for 1 second think that Wigan are a dirty team, is that a sign of the fatigue maybe setting in because of the amount of work they've had to do in defence?
Of course it's something to do with your footwork, and when your footwork goes a bit haywire, it's because there's fatigue in. And obviously sometimes you're waiting, and people coming out at you more speed, they're going to beat you inside or outside, and that's a legacy of the amount of work you're going to have to do, and you're dead right. I mean, people think a high shot's just because a bloke can't tackle. There's reasons, there's an effect and a cause build up in it, and they're one of the reasons, fatigue.
Now I know that the coaches voted this business in about yellow card for persistent high tackling, without taking anything away from the referees, who can still put incidents on report and indeed brandish the red card rather than the yellow. But what constitutes persistence? 2, 3, 4, 5?
Well, and what constitutes how many tackles you have to make? You might have to tackle 10 minutes in a row, and like we talk about fatigue, you might get a bad one. Yes, viewers have got to realise if it's a bad one, he can still be sent off. If he's not sure, he can still put it on report. But don't forget, any penalties, you give up field position, you're going to give up points.
But Ian, it confuses me, confuses the fans.
Well, Steve, you know, I don't believe in it, because you know what? It puts another pressure on the referee, which he doesn't need. He's going to have to come up with a decision, and he's got to verify whether he thinks it's persistent. And I think that's pressure he doesn't need. If it's high, make the decision, either off, on report, or a penalty.
The chip over the top is fielded by Martin Aspinwall, who tips it inside to Kevin Brown.
Solid kick and chase as well. Field position, so vital in this modern game.
Dallas trying to gain Wigan some ground. Tackled by Carl Price. That was Bezic. This is Moran. It moves on. Guisset is trapped. There's Godwin waiting at the play the ball. Moran and wide. Colbon. Oh,
Back to 6.
Carl Pratt flicked at that. It's a knock on.
Well, I didn't really need to go for it. It wasn't the best pass, was it? You can see that Violiki had gone through, and he's not too impressed. Here's the Great Britain and Bradford coach.
Did you notice who was behind him? Gerald Caudle, the former Welsh international. Always used to enjoy it when Peter Fox was here and used to give his team out. Used to name Gerald Cordell.
He was a good winger as well. Don't worry about that. He had the same sort of, well, go forward as Vainikolo.
Cap for Great Britain as well as Wales. Gerald Caudle.
Oh, it's got to be offside. Oh, he's allowed that. How on earth has he allowed that? He's passed it, hits the man, and then he's gone in front of him.
Bounce forward.
Of course he did. Got to be automatic offside. Accidental, perhaps, but...
This is see you.
Well, I can't get my head around that one.
Oh, and the ball's come out, and it's been picked up by Harris. He wasn't tackled. Now he is.
And you can see that Wigan is struggling first and second marker, and there's no one better to make sure that they take advantage of it than this fella, Robbie Paul.
Steve-O, Phil made a great call there earlier, Phil did, as he talked about persistence of Bradford. Count up the many times that Wigan have been an opportunity to do so, and their persistence and pressure building hasn't been anywhere near the same as Bradford.
Back up. Okay, Jay.
It's time for patience for Bradford here again. Oh! Guisset was high. Now
He's got to pull him in. Well, remember what the man with the whistle said. You've got no problems. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Dennis Moran. And that's the reason why we nearly have an all-in brawl.
Dennis Betts is anxious here, wondering which colour the card will be, or whether it will be on report. Referee will take a report from his touch judge.
Don't forget, this is the same guy that sent Adrian Morley off in the first couple of seconds of a test match, so he's not worried about giving a red card if he thinks it's right or wrong.
Okay, incident on report. Yeah. Okay. Leon Price! Hang on, Clint. Leon Price!
He wants a word with Leon Price, first of all, because Price came in to begin the repercussions.
Come here, please. We've got control of the situation. You come running in. I expect you to do it well. You know, leave it to the officials. We'll deal with it. All right? Okay? Fine.
Well, I apologise to you, he says.
Well, that's great to hear.
Guisset is called out now.
Listen to the report. Okay? The incident's going on report. Penalty to Bradford, okay?
Well, where is the new edict?
Well, they've just forgotten about it, haven't they?
No, that's the third.
And I mean, look, I'm not trying to crucify the official, but when you say to a captain, look, don't worry about it, you've only had 2, that means you've got a chance to have another one, or maybe 2. We'll wait and see.
Bradford have possession from the penalty. This is Rob Parker.
First, hold out.
A chance for them anyway. Harris. Been impressive tonight, I think, Iestyn Harris. 30 points to 6. Salford, they've beaten Lee. Robbie Paul, good ball. Fielder, second try in a week. And a great effort from the big fella that. Came onto that ball like an express train out of control. And there was no way that the fullback would stop him. That's 2 in a week. And he says to Brad Myers, hey, whatever you can do, Aussie, I can do. Let's hope he's doing it in the Tri-Nations.
Well, with form like that, he'll certainly be eager to take it to the Kiwis and the Australians. No doubt he was watching this morning, that international. But what about the inside pass from Robbie Paul? Sheer strength, good quality. He's just moved himself around the field of play as Robbie Paul. He's controlled things. He really has played well. Not many runs from dummy half or taking on the defence, but he is providing. And he certainly has provided on this occasion.
3 out of 4 for Deacon. This is going to be 4 out of 5 from bang in front. 28 points to 8. For Bradford now, it's their match to lose.
It's going to be difficult for the Cherry and Whites now to keep a grasp of this game.
And 3 defeats in a row looming for Wigan for the first time in 8 years. A crisis, Phil, or not?
I think when a team loses in modern day sports, every week it's a crisis, isn't it? That's the pressure that the coach is under now. We analyse and dissect the game more than ever before, and I think no doubt everybody will do that again with Wigan. I think that they'll obviously be looking towards next week here now, because realistically they won't come back. I mean, Bradford did,
by the way, next week.
Bradford did from a similar scoreline at the JJB Stadium, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that after what Bradford have done to them over the last 66 minutes.
Yes, it's going to be a big 13 minutes now for Wigan.
Ian, as a coach, would you bring off some of your star players?
This is Robbie Paul. Tackle is not completed. Here's Peacock. Offloads. Radford is it. And Paul Deacon on the last tackle. To Robbie Paul, who made the break. To Iestyn Harris, and wide. Chances here. Just short of the line. Good defence.
Good work from Dallas. Violecki did very well indeed. Went very close.
And Langley was so close then for Bradford. Ian, answer that question of Steve-O's. If you were the coach, would you now be, Dennis Betts, I mean, would you be taking off your star men and waiting for next week?
Well, if I was the Bradford coach, anyone who's got an injury, I'd get him out of there. The player wouldn't want to come out. Here's Dallas again. He's had a fantastic game. He's one person who can hold his head very high. But if I was Bradford, I would take a couple of players out of that injury, get them right for next week. We've won the game. If I was Wigan, gee, at the moment, some of these young kids will learn from this experience here at the moment.
Oh, and so close then.
And that's what I mean there, Steve-O. They're making opportunities, and they're just not finishing them off. And no, the Wigan guys got to stay out there now. They've got to tough it out, and they've got to go through it, because it's all a little bit of pain, which makes you greater next week, and you learn from.
The one thing that Dennis Betts will probably also learn from, Ian, is the fact that they have made the breaks. They have got through this Bradford defence. It's just that they haven't been able to finish it.
Vainicolo might finish something here. Kevin Brown, he did well, but he couldn't trap the ball. Radford, tackle not completed. Back to Leslie again. Oh, it's a joy to watch. I wouldn't like to be Leslie Vainicolo, but I tell you what, it's a great thing to watch from up here. And here now is Harris. It's with Peacock. And Wigan again are scrambling back in defence, but can they hold them out? No, they can't. Yes, they can. I thought he was over the line. Deacon slides the kick in.
Good play.
Great stuff from little Kevin Brown. Well, I thought Bradford were over then. Wigan must feel a little bit like King Canute now. Can they stop this wave after wave?
Well, they are doing. Harris went close. He did the right thing. If it had moved again, he was thinking about the second movement.
Here they come again, Wigan, though. Yet another break, this time from Aspinwall. Oh, what a shame. He's managed to hang on to it though, Aspinwall. Great run from Newton, he keeps it going to Moran. Moran, infield it goes, and wide and over the head of Dallas, and it bounces to Violicki. This is a great learning curve for Wigan. They won't be enjoying the scoreline, but these youngsters can only learn from this experience. Great ball, see you. That's the last. Terry Newton. Little dab over the top from Newton, but gobbled up by Harris. That's Reardon.
Where do they get the energy from, you know, this Wigan outfit? You've got to be so happy that the way they just dig deep. They don't have to throw a towel in at all. Just keep going and going. Their fitness levels are high.
Oh, look, they scramble as good as any team in Super League, which will keep them in good stead all the way through the year at Steve-O. I tell you what, we're getting all excited about attack here at the moment. And here they go again in Bradford. But I tell you what Brian Noble's looking for a moment. He's looking for intensity in defence. He wants to see that 8 at the end of this game. He wants some intensity. You can talk about replacements and all that. That's the attitude he wants off his play at the moment. How can you finish off mentally and physically in defence?
The offload there from Fielden to Radford is punishing, and Radford with the run. Oh, that's gone to ground. It's going to be picked up though by Myers. It's play on, and Myers is looking for 2, but he gives it to Vainicolo. Has he got the strength? No, he's in touch.
He's in touch. Good work there again.
Magnificent defence from Wigan. If they only had the belief when they made the breaks, you know, this would be much, much closer. Didn't Aspinwall do well then?
Yeah, they got it right. Touch judge right on the spot. Tremendous effort, Aspinwall.
He's about half the size, Aspinwall, of Vainicolo.
Well, they'll be happy with Brian Noble with the solid performance tonight. 28-8, it's...
And in a funny sort of way, Ian, would Dennis Betts be happy with this from Wigan?
Well, they've got an attitude to keep getting back and scrambling. They've got an attitude to keep fighting for a little bit of space. But could someone do a bit of a head count here? At the moment, every time someone touches a ball, there seems to be space and breaks all the time. Are we still got 13 versus 13? That's what's got me a little bit confused at the moment.
Well, it's amazing, you know, 3 years ago, I think Eddie and I put doubt on the fitness levels of the Wigan outfit. You can't do that these days.
Oh, definitely. Their fitness is not a problem. The amount of work, they've spent more time coming out their half than Bradford, and that's very hard.
They're on halfway. Wigan again on the 4th tackle. Guisset looking for a penalty from the referee, which wasn't forthcoming. 38-6, 5 to go for Salford over Lee. Here we have a penalty for Wigan.
Well, Terry Newton runs straight at the man and he said he's offside. Fielden never went back to full 10. And that's the reason why he's given the penalty.
Oh, they've not found touch. They haven't found touch, Wigan.
That's a sin.
Great work there by Carl Pratt.
That is a sin.
They went for depth off the kick and it just wasn't there. This is Reardon for Bradford. 7 minutes to go.
It's another little game now between this Wigan outfit. It's to realise, look, if we can stop them from scoring another try, you know, they've done their job. They've worked hard.
I made the point, Phil, about Dennis Betts. He won't be happy with the scoreline, there's no doubt about that. But what about the performance? This has given him surely some hope.
I don't think they've performed that badly
too
often this season, no idea. And I think that it's almost money in the bank, the investment, that the experience the younger players are getting. But what people don't have often in a game, and obviously over the course of a season, is much patience with the team.
Oh, Reardon was nearly through then. A very important ankle tap from Dennis Moran. Has it just delayed the inevitable? Such strength from Reardon. Oh, great start. And he gives it to Myers. And Myers gets his second. What a fantastic effort from Stuart Reardon. Great stuff from Stuart Reardon. Great Britain international Reardon. And Bradley Myers with his second try of the night.
Good support there, but as Eddie has mentioned, Reardon's second effort, or even third effort, was sufficient. A tiring defence, that we know, but they've scrambled well. Beautiful inside pass, look at that. Did well, get the ball alive. You can see that they stood around. Dennis Moran just got a fingertip to him. Got him in the right moment, but it was sheer desperation. And what an offload. Boy, that was a classic try.
Deacon again, bang in front. Adds the extras. 34 points to 8. Dave Hadfield, man of the match, please.
Yet again, you can't criticise Wigan for not having a dig here, and we feel that Brett Dallas has typified that. Not just his tries, it's a great defence, part of which put an end to Michael Withers that evening when we thought he was going particularly well. After that, it was the pivotal players really for Bradford who've shone tonight. Paul Deacon, and especially the man who we've given it to tonight, that's Robbie Paul.
Robbie Paul from scrum half gets the vote from the British press as man of the match. Is that a raised eyebrow from Robbie Paul? Does he not think he deserves the watch?
Not really. He's been instrumental. He's just really just carried the team all around the park, inside passes. It's been a good team effort, this. But they know they've been in a game. You know, at 34-8, I'd have to say it's a little bit cruel as a scoreline to this Wigan outfit.
Well, we had a discussion about scorelines a week or two ago, and it is a bit lopsided in Bradford's favour, but they are by far the more accomplished side. But some of these, I keep going back to it, some of these Wigan youngsters, just as Leeds learned so many important lessons a couple of years ago.
Well, Stuart Fielden got the ball from Robbie Paul. He said, what on earth are you giving me it?
Well, he's on his way. Brad Myers has got 2. The best of British wants 2. That's the last tackle, though. Deacon. Here's Harris. Angled kick. Robbie Paul. Stolen from him. Pinched from him by Harrison Hansen.
Beautiful kick back.
He was nearly celebrating the watch. What a kick from Harris.
Superb. Off the side of the boot. Good work from Hansen. Try saver, that's for sure.
They'll have the goal line dropout, though, Wigan. Well, Harrison Hansen's dad, Shane, used to play for Salford all those years ago, and well, it's a happy night for Salford by the looks of things. It's not so for Wigan. Here's Big Joe Vangenaar.
Eddie, have you any idea how terrifying that must have been to be stood in front of him then?
Every idea. And here is Carl Price. It was a forward pass.
Keeping the ball alive. Well, all I can do is remember that song. Probably you don't, Clark, is Mule Train. Boy. And again, the scrambling defence, they're there in numbers, but look at this. Boof. Wild said, what on earth has hit me?
A mule train.
I think we've got a salary cap in the game. I bet those Wigan players wish we had a size cap at the moment. The way that comes at you, get behind your lounge.
Aren't you glad you're a coach?
Yeah, I'm a coach, and you demand a lot of players, but you really respect them, because I tell you, they're going to come up with errors. No one tries to, but gee, all you want to do is see is try. And Wild put his body on the line. Technique might have been great. Gee, size will test that out always, but.
Yes, to see Leslie Vinacolo coming at you at what does he run at, do you think, Phil? 30 mile an hour?
No, it might be something like that. It was the size, I think, factor and the power behind it that will be difficult. Wigan, again, they still move the ball. They probably played more rugby than they did against Huddersfield 2 weeks ago. Moved the ball pretty well here tonight, but they played against a better side. But there's still some good signs for them for the course of the season here, I think, Eddie.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. I said before the game kicked off, Phil, that it'll be a time where these so-called youngsters with inexperience, throughout the season, they'll gain that experience, get bigger and better.
Salford have hammered Lee, 42 points to 6.
I know every side is suffering from injuries, but one player who might make a difference to Wigan is Brian Carney when he comes back.
Yes.
He's so charismatic that he'll lift the whole side up another gear.
Bit of a argy-bargy involving Stuart Fielden. Here goes Brad Myers. I'll tell you what, Bob Bezic was not going to be beaten by Bradley Myers.
And Bradley Myers says, what on earth has hit me? He's come off second best.
Bradford looking to finish with a flourish as we enter the last minute. That is Lynch on halfway. Oh, good run. Great run from Harris. Terrific run from Harris, but he's on his top. Gives it to Vangenaar. They're trying to batter them up the middle still.
They'll have one play the ball, that's about it.
Myers, he's still feeling the effects of that last collision. Here's Harris. Dab over the top, Robbie Paul's after it, and Robbie Paul scores for Bradford to complete the perfect night for him. watch as man of the match, and his name's on the try-scoring list as well. Well, the scoreline does have a lopsided look about it now. Bradford are the better side, there is no question of that. But it's a cruel game when you look at that.
It certainly is, but it was a classy move, wasn't it? The two half-backs, they've been outstanding, you know, for Bradford. Tired arms and legs, Tiggle couldn't get to it.
I think Harris has had one of his better games that we've seen. How he didn't get man of the match, I don't know.
Well, I'm with you on that one, Eddie, but David Hatfield and the British press, they are prone to...
Well, who'd have his job? Who'd have that job as man of the match?
Well,
you not had it once, yeah.
I used to have it. I don't want it anymore. But what skill there? It's taken a while. He's come under a lot of criticism as Justin Harris, and so has Robbie Paul. But the combination tonight has won Bradford the game.
And Deacon has added the extra 2. Well, 40 points to 8. It now looks like a hammering, but it has never been that. It has been a hard slog for Bradford. But Brian Noble is smiling a bit brighter now. That's 2 in a row he's won, but for Wigan, that's 3 defeats on the bounce in the Engage Super League. Although the size of the defeat will be cause for concern for his supporters, Dennis Betts will be encouraged by the performance of some of his youngsters and some of his senior players as well. But as the weeks go by in the Super League, he is being shorn of his experience because of injury and other matters, of course. It's Bradford's night.